In general, these decrees were all made, so we stay, not the Tevilah one, but for example, Bishul Israel, let's say, for example. So we don't get close to another non-Jew and then end up marrying their daughter. Hakam Odia has a clear leniency in Yav Omed, where he says these days, if you have a business, you don't know who's making the food for you. You're not going out with the guy's daughter, and so therefore there's a room to be lenient and not require all these things. Could be that they did the same thing. I don't know for sure with commercially with Tevilah and these things. Could be, and they said these days it's not personal. You're not gonna. I don't know. Tevilah is more strict though, because Tevilah, I mean, it says straight out in the Torah when they had the war with Minyan, it says you have to put everything through. Everything has to go in the mikveh. So I don't know for sure about that loophole, but it could be that there's sometimes for businesses and commercial stuff they make rules. I don't know for sure. I could ask my father, who's actually a caterer, and see what he says after. Okay. I want to find this. Let me find this mitzvah. I'm thinking, can you Google it? Para Aduma, Rambam. Which mitzvah is it? I want to read it.
Wait. What?
In the Sefer Mitzvot of the Rambam. How would you even Google that? You think it'll come up? Sefer Mitzvot, I have it written down actually. There you go. Right by my seat, there's like Para Aduma. It's a sikha. It's a printed pamphlet. Would you mind getting it? You don't mind? From the Rebbe. Sit down, Yuri.
20 minutes?
Not long today. 25 minutes. Not long today. It's an interesting thought. I want to see what the thought is on this. Yeah. This is an unusual style for me. I don't usually do this style, but it's an interesting. Look at your brain going for the week. But we need to start with the Rebbe's Sikha, because he points out something interesting. And I don't know which mitzvah, unless someone else knows, in the Sefer Mitzvot of the Rambam, where's Para Aduma? You know where it is? Yeah. It's written in the Sikha there. You know what it is? No, not Mishneh Torah. Sefer Mitzvot. No. That's different. He counts all the mitzvot. Thank you. Yeah, Itai has it. There should be it says Para. Yeah, there you go.
I heard that there
I found it. I'm sorry, Itai. I found it. God bless you. Okay, so ready, guys? Here's a little challenging thought process for us. Parashat Zahav, Para Aduma, Uncle Jack. You ready? Now, Uncle Jack, I don't know if anything that I'm saying today is halachic. It's an interesting thought exercise. It could be halachic. I just don't know for sure. Okay? All right, so Para Aduma, I want to start by reading you what the Rambam says when he counts the mitzvot. Rambam says, the mitzvah Para Aduma, hatzivui shenistavinu la'asot. Now, what would you say? If someone says to you, what is the mitzvah of Para Aduma? You got 10 words. What is the mitzvah of Para Aduma? Sum it up.
10 words.
Yeah. That's hard.
Purify person who came in touch with impurity as a result.
Does everyone agree with his synopsis of Para Aduma, or would you put it a different way? Seriously. Nehemiah, would you put it a different way? Would you put it a different way?
Purify, to remove tuma, I don't know, purify is the word.
And? Please the fifth. Well, would you put it a different way? The tzaddik behind you. Listen to what the Rambam says. Rambam doesn't say that. Rambam says, and thanks to the Rebbe, I would never realize this if the Rebbe didn't point it out. The Lubavitch Rebbe. He says, the commandment that we have to do, Para Aduma, is a red heifer, that it should be ready and on standby, for whoever needs it to be purified. Like it says, that's part of what we read yesterday. This ashes mixture should be for the Bnei Yisrael, the mishmeret, for keeping. You have to keep it. I mean, seriously? That's the mitzvah of Para Aduma. To have it ready? What? Use it! What do you mean? What is the purpose of having a car? To put it in my driveway, so in case I need it. What? to drive it. Why would the Rambam say this? The purpose of the Mitzvah Parah Adumah is to have it ready, not to use it. Moshe?
I think there's a difference between mitzvah al-klal and mitzvah al-afal.
He doesn't use the action. He doesn't even say what you do with it.
I think the mitzvah is the mitzvah. The Hashem is meaning to have it ready. Use it, don't use it, doesn't matter.
Really?
The mitzvah
Really?
is ready for you when you need it.
Really? Is that the
Just if you purified someone, doesn't mean you did the mitzvah. The fact that you got the
Yubi, what you're saying is a big chidush. That's what the Rebbe says. But 5 minutes ago, would we have thought about Parah Adumah this way? The purpose of the Mitzvah Parah Adumah is to sprinkle it on somebody. No, it's to be ready. It's to be parked and ready, locked and loaded. And the one pasuk he decides to bring is, the pasuk I would have brought is, and umazeh, you should spray it. No, put it in a can. That's the Mitzvah. Put it in the mezaveh. Put it in the pantry. That's what he says. Put it in the mishmeret. That's the Mitzvah Parah Adumah. So the Rebbe, the Lubavitch Rebbe, says there's a big lesson here, and that's what I want to open up. Now, there's an idea that I heard and I researched and I added like a bunch of things to, and I have to give credit to Rabbi Shlomo. I think his name is Rabbi Shlomo Cinnamon. I think is the guy's name who really got me going on this. The question is as follows: there's a series of questions that if we use this Rambam, we might be able to understand better Parah Adumah and answer. Number one, we all know this Parah Adumah is a very weird dichotomy. Even Shlomo HaMelech doesn't understand it. Why? Because the person who gets involved with purifying you becomes tameh themselves. How could that be? Right? Okay, that's one weird thing that everyone always tries to figure out. Another thing, the vaccine theory was interesting, but I don't know. It was interesting.
Because the vaccine is preemptive. We're using
Yeah. Moshe is referring to what someone said at Seudah Shlishit yesterday. Like I don't know if this is true. Anybody here a doctor? If you give they used to give a vaccine and the doctor would get sick with it. I don't know. Could be. I don't know. That's one thing. Secondly, why was this mitzvah given to Aharon? Tell Aharon, who made the first Parah Adumah? Moshe Rabbeinu made the first Parah Adumah. Moshe Rabbeinu. How many Parah Adumahs have we had in history? 9. Excellent. 9. Mashiach is going to do number 10. 9, and Mashiach is going to do number 10. Yeah? The rabbis tell us that every Parah Adumah is Moshe Rabbeinu's Parah Adumah. Moshe Rabbeinu made the first one, and when he burnt the ashes, they kept diluting. You know, back to the Lubavitch Rebbe, one of my Lubavitcher friends gave me the Rebbe's wine. It's probably a 0.00001% of actual Rebbe's wine. They can just keep diluting it over, right? So they have one thing and they pour it into a whole bottle, and they pour that into a whole bottle. So Moshe Rabbeinu's ashes from the first Parah Adumah was always diluted with every other Parah Adumah. So every Parah Adumah is really Moshe Rabbeinu's Parah Adumah. Why is this important? And why is the mitzvah given to Aharon when Moshe himself did it? To understand this, the Kutzker Rebbe, there's a lot of the Atid Labo here. But to answer this, the Kutzker Rebbe has a great question. Ready for this question? When we did Korban Pesach, there were a group of people who came to Moshe Rabbeinu with a big claim, and they said, Lama nigara? Why should we lose out? We can't do Korban Pesach now because we're tameh mit. We were helping people getting buried, and so we're tameh. And so Moshe says, "Oh, that's a great question. Let me see what Hashem tells me." Hashem comes down and says to them, "Okay, there's something called Pesach Sheni, second chance. You got to retake. 30 days from now, you make yourself pure. You can do the Korban Pesach." The Kutzker Rebbe asks a very simple question: who carried the bones of Yosef?
Yeah.
So Moshe Rabbeinu himself should have been in the Korban, in the Pesach Sheni group. Why was he allowed to bring the Korban Pesach? He was also doing tameh met. You can say it too much. Or hail, it goes to this. It's complicated stuff.
Did you say you did the parah? Maybe sprinkle that.
So I don't know if you mean to say it this way, but there's a whole discussion of what came first. It says by Mara, we got 3 mitzvot, and Parah Adumah, Rashi says, was one of them. So did Parah Adumah come before that? If Parah Adumah came before Korban Pesach, all these guys should have done the Parah Adumah. And then there should be no Pesach Sheni. So the fact that there's a Pesach Sheni would seem to indicate there was no Parah Adumah yet. Okay, maybe. This is the Katzker. What were they tameh met? What were they doing? These people were tameh met. The people who said lama nigara, we can't do it, they were tameh met.
No, but you're saying the fact that they came and said lama nigara suggests that they didn't apply
Parah Adumah.
Saying, wait a second, it could have applied it it could have applied it there. Then a few days later, somebody came in contact with it. Now he was the one.
Yeah, it could be, but there was a whole group of people.
So it's a big crowd. At any level, they're newborn and dead.
It could be. I don't know for sure. I don't see it does say Parah was given by Mara. So we had Parah.
So they all became pure. And after that, it reset the button. So it takes care of Moshe.
The question is, we are understanding that Moshe took the bones of Yosef everywhere they went. So how did he ever get purified from this tumah? That's the Katzker Rebbe's question. Yuvi? They were tameh.
Or because they were busy burying people.
Same thing. No, it's the same thing really. They're tameh. If someone touches a dead person, they can't do Korban Pesach. They're tameh. That's what they said. Anachon timeim. The dead, they're tameh. That's why there's a Pesach Sheni, right? Oh, sorry.
So this was able to what happened prior to that? What is because most babies also already
With the Parah Adumah. Yeah, because they got out in Nisan. They already did Korban Pesach in Egypt. And then 50 days later, they already had Har Sinai, right? So it was after. It was in the second year, right?
Something happened with it's exempt.
So unless you say, like everyone is saying, he did the Parah Adumah. Moshe Rabbeinu did the Parah Adumah.
He carried the bones.
He carried the bones.
The other potential answer to that first of all, the man is usually the person is what we say in prophet. When the neshama leaves the body is still there. Yosef at that point was only bones.
Yeah, but Moshe, it doesn't matter. You touch bones, you touch a coffin. Tameh met is the highest level of impurity. The only thing that takes away tameh met is Parah Adumah. Nothing else removes it. Everybody knows this, right? Nothing else removes tameh met besides for Parah Adumah. It's the only way. Katzker Rebbe's question. I think it's a good question. And so they say like this. Another question will help to open it up. We know that there's something called Gid Hanasheh. We cannot eat the Gid Hanasheh, the sciatic nerve. Rabbi Shimon says in the Gemara, you cannot even have Hana'ah from the Gid Hanasheh. You can't sell it, you can't have benefit. That's what he holds. And the Gemara says, whether it's halakha l'ma'aseh or not, that's why I don't know if there's halachic, it's more thought process. That once you have the Gid Hanasheh, which is an isud, even if it's mixed, you cannot benefit from the mixture. You don't say but a bitul. So here's the question they ask. The entire cow was burnt or part of the cow was burnt?
The entire,
The entire cow was burnt.
so that's the demonstration.
Gidan Asher is inside that pile of ashes. You're going to sprinkle and be all purified and good to go. That's benefiting from the Gidan Asher. How are you allowed to benefit from the Gidan Asher?
It's easier to recognize.
It's definitely easier to rectify. But this is the so right. So there's an opinion that there's no bitul for the Gidan Asher. You're benefiting because now you get to join the Seder. But these ashes that's sprinkling on you, it's helping you. It's the Gid. It's all mixed up. It's diluted in the water. It's all mixed up. I don't know. I was trying to research that before Shabbat actually, and I didn't. I was reading some of the Mishnayot of Parah, and no, they burnt the whole thing. They burnt the whole cow. How they chopped it, I didn't get it. And so the answer they want to give is as follows. There's a concept, mitzvot lav lihanot nitnu. Mitzvot are not given for us to benefit from. Mitzvot are given to us because we have to do the mitzvah. They're not here for benefit. Since you can't benefit, since we don't intend to benefit from a mitzvah, if you happen to benefit from a mitzvah, that wasn't your kavanah, and it's okay. This concept, mitzvot lav lihanot nitu. Mitzvot were not given for us to benefit. Why are mitzvot lav lihanot nitu? Why? Why can't we say, yeah, mitzvot are here for enjoyment? Aren't mitzvot enjoyable sometimes? No, mitzvot are not for your enjoyment. They're just mitzvot. Why?
So if they work for benefit, then it removes the whole aspect of doing it because Hashem told you.
Because it says in Masechet Shabbat that when we got the Torah, we didn't first say Naaseh v'nishma. We said Naaseh, we will do. The second time we said Naaseh v'nishma. What did Hashem have to do to us? He had to force us. Hafa alehem had kigigit. Hashem took the mountain and put it on top of us like a roof. He forced us to accept the full Torah. We didn't accept the full Torah belev shalem, with a complete heart from the beginning. Rashi says, mitzvot are on us as an all, as a yoke, as a job we have to do. Who said we accepted it with love? We didn't really accept it with love in the desert. We accepted it because we have to. If you didn't accept it with love, you didn't accept it to enjoy, then mitzvot, lav le'anot nitu. You just said mitzvot are not here for enjoyment. And so therefore, if you get a side benefit from the Gidan Asher, it's a side benefit. Who said, I do mitzvot for enjoyment? Now here's what the Gaon of Vilna says. Yani, we say on Shabbat what? Yismach Moshe b'matanat chelko. Moshe was happy with his portion. Ki Eved Ne'eman karata lo, because he was a very trustworthy Eved. Bi'omdo lefanecha al Har Sinai. Moshe was standing on Har Sinai. Now again, I don't know if this is literal. That's why I said this is more interesting thought to start your week. When Hashem picked up the mountain to put it over us like a roof, was Moshe under the mountain or was he already on the mountain? If Moshe was on the mountain, he was the only one who wasn't forced. And that's why Yismach Moshe. That's why he's loving the mitzvot. It's delicious. He accepted the mitzvot with a full heart. Moshe Rabbeinu was the only one who didn't have to be forced. The only reason we said the rule is mitzvot lav lehanot nitnu, mitzvot is not for enjoyment, is because you were forced. What about the one guy who wasn't forced? The one guy who wasn't forced, his mitzvot are for enjoyment. So maybe the halakha should be for Moshe Rabbeinu, mitzvot lihanot nitnu. Mitzvot are for his enjoyment, because he accepted upon it belev shalem, with full heart. And therefore, if Moshe Rabbeinu Misvot lihanot nitnu. His misvot are for his enjoyment. There's a big problem. How does he enjoy the sciatic nerve of the cow? Gidan Hashem. We all can benefit from the Gidan Hashem that was burnt because we can claim we're not enjoying the mitzvot. We're just doing the mitzvot. Moshe Rabbeinu, who's enjoying the mitzvot, and you're saying, I enjoy all the mitzvot, how could you benefit from the cow that was burnt? There's a Gidan Hashem that's sprinkling you to make you holy. So the question is, how can Moshe Rabbeinu ever be purified from Tameh Meh?
The premises of the question is problematic.
I agree with you 100%.
Because I understand the concept is that as a result of doing mitzvah, you get ana'ah in this world, which is really translated more as ana'ah gashmit, something that we're able to benefit from in this world.
That's a premise you're saying yourself. We don't know if that's a true premise.
But when you think about lehenot mitzvah, lehenot mechazir, lehenot gidan Hashem, it doesn't take about there is a sachar, because here's you want if you follow that train of thoughts, then you really have a problem. Because by following the mitzvah or not benefiting from gidan Hashem, you're benefiting in heaven for doing a mitzvah. Not will be a reconciliation.
Moshe, a Pesach Seder is not a Hana'ah.
Huh?
A Pesach Seder, you're sitting outside in the cold while everyone else is enjoying the Pesach Seder because you're Tameh. And then we say, you know what, you're Tahor, come join the Seder. That's not a Hana'ah.
Could be, could not. Some people are tired, some people want to go to the dinner, some people are
You be.
The bottom line is the premises of the question.
It could be.
I think the Anah is Gashmut.
It could be.
Here you're basically, you're not benefiting from it. The Gidan Hashem is part of the mitzvah.
But
once it becomes part
but
of the
Moshe,
mitzvah,
being Tameh has Gashmi ramifications. Being Tameh means you have to go outside. Don't go in the shul. If you walk in the shul and you were under the roof, you're going to make everyone Tameh. Get out of here. Being Tameh in those days is like having COVID in the days of COVID. You're in lockdown. Get out of here. Go away. That's not Gashmi. Nobody wants to be Tameh like that. Being let back into the community is a benefit. You be.
I think Moshe could be that.
Oh, Moshe can't be Tameh?
Then you see the only one that was he the only one that went up to the 4 days.
So therefore, he can't be Tameh? Tum'ah doesn't apply to Moshe? I'm asking you a question, Yuvi. Are you insinuating Moshe Rabbeinu? Are you? Does everybody hear what he's saying? He's saying Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't apply the laws of Tum'ah? Wow, that's a massive chidush.
He was fighting with the angels up there. Can't go to here, answer that.
Where did we get to so far? We'll get back to you. Where did we get to so far? Moshe Rabbeinu, how could he be purified with Paraduma? He's going to benefit from the Gidan Hashem. And he's the only person that benefits from mitzvah, so he can't benefit from the Gidan. So how is he ever purified from Tum'ah? So the Kutzker Rebbe, his question was, how does Moshe Rabbeinu do the first Korban Pesach? We're doubling down on the question. How does Moshe Rabbeinu do any Korban Pesach? How does he ever become Tahor?
He was not metameh every time he kept next to our.
That too. He should infect everybody. The Gemara in Nazir, Moshe, I gave a warning label before. This is not the usual shiur. It's like a liquidy type when they use the thumbs to get the wheels going. Right, Uncle Jack? I hear. You're a good learner, Moshe. The Gemara in Nazir says as follows. You got it? I hear? Okay. The Gemara in Nazir says as follows. What level of Tum'ah does a non-Jew have? If a non-Jew touches a dead body, what level of Tum'ah does the non-Jew have? Everyone's afraid of all the trick questions. If a Jewish person touches a dead body, what level of Tum'ah does a Jewish person have? What level of Tum'ah? Yeah, what level of Tum'ah? Yeah. If the non-Jew touches a dead body, what level of Tum'ah does a non-Jew have? Says Uncle Jack, Amar Uncle Jack, so the Gemara says, Oved kochavim, a goy, en lo tum'ah, does not become tameh. Mina Torah. The rabbis instituted that all goyim are like nidah. But from the Torah, a goy does not become tameh. Why? Says the Gemara. Mina. Amar Kara, the pasuk says, "V'iza hatahor ala tameh." Where is this pasuk from? Yesterday, parasha aduma. The pure guy sprinkles the non-pure guy with the parah aduma. Kol sheyesh lo tahara, yesh lo tum'ah. V'chol she'en lo tahara, en lo tum'ah. Huh? Except for Bnei Noah? Yosef was a Bnei Noah. No, we're not talking about the dead body. Oh yeah, I like the way you're thinking. Let's stick with not him, huh? Anyone who has the cure, Hashem will allow to be sick. If you can't take the medicine, Hashem will never give you that illness. It's a very deep thought, by the way. Hashem will never give you something there's no cure to. By the Parah Adumah says, it should be lemishmeret da'adat b'nei Israel. It's only for the Jewish people to sprinkle Parah Adumah. You don't sprinkle on a non-Jew. And it's the only way to cure Tameh Met. And so therefore, you tell the non-Jew, you can never get the cure of Parah Adumah. If you can never get the cure, you never get the illness. You don't become Tameh Met. And this is halakha l'maaseh from the Rambam. A goy is not Tameh Met. Because how is you supposed to get out of it? Hashem will never put you in a situation, even if you're a goy, that you can't get out of. Halakha l'maaseh.
It's interesting that you're explaining on the remedy. Medication.
Yeah.
And when I heard that, I was thinking about the goys, the shamat to begin with, is not on the line of Rebbe, or it could be the man. I heard it very different.
I like it the Musad way. I like the lesson of it. It's an amazing lesson. Hashem will never give you something you can't get out of it.
So because the goy can never be
Purified,
then he can never be.
I'm in. Take us away. Take it away, Yuvi. Next. What's the next step in this? Keep going. What's the next step? Yuvi, what's the next step? Moshe Rabbeinu can't do Parah Adumah. Moshe Rabbeinu can't do Parah Adumah. He was there a minute ago. Yuvi, you were just there a minute ago, before everybody else. Moshe Rabbeinu can't do Parah Adumah because he's going to benefit from the Gidan Hashem. If you can't have the Parah Adumah, guess what? You don't have the Tumah. So Moshe made the Parah Adumah, but he can't be sprinkled the Parah Adumah because it doesn't work on him. Why? Because he's benefiting from the Gidan Hashem. So therefore, perhaps Moshe, maybe, like you said, like 10 minutes ago, maybe Moshe Rabbeinu can never be Tameh. That's crazy that you said that right away. Yeah, flying with the angels, whatever you said up there. So Moshe Rabbeinu, now is this halakha l'maaseh? We don't know. Could yeah. He left his wife. He was a half angel, you could say. That's what he was trying to say.
But the idea was maybe
Tumah doesn't apply to him. Tumah.
why did he actually
He made a kavah homed, the Gemara says. I'm not. No, it's Sipporah. Sipporah, she did talk because he had a speech impediment. I think Rabbi Miller says this. He had a speech impediment. He had a problem talking, so he got a bird who talks a lot. Sipporah. But he made a kavah homed. He said if everyone else has to separate because Hashem's talking to them for Har Sinai, one time they have to separate for 3 days. Me, that Hashem talks b'chol ed, panim panim. Every second Hashem talks to me. I can't be with my wife forever. That was the kavah. And so therefore, perhaps Moshe Rabbeinu was immune to Tum'ah. Why? Because he doesn't have the cure. Tum'ah, Tamim at the highest level of Tum'ah. Because he doesn't have the cure. The Kutzker Rebbe's question was, what Moshe? Why could Moshe Rabbeinu do the first Korban Pesach? Wasn't he carrying the boson Yosef? He's invincible to Tum'at Met.
Because you can talk to Hashem whenever it feels like it. Right?
This is an amazing Hidush.
Have to be extremely pure.
So now,
maybe that's the response of the Shem.
not the Satan. So now we're learning something. Yeah, I don't wanted it. He may have gotten it too. I don't remember. So now we're learning something about the para aduma. If we go back to the beginning, who made the first para aduma? Moshe Rabbeinu, and he couldn't even use it. And the ashes of Moshe Rabbeinu, of his para aduma, has to be in all the para adumas, which means the very essence of para aduma, we see from the first one, is creating purity for other people, and you can't even get it yourself. It doesn't even apply to you. The whole point of the para aduma is for the other person. When the Rambam says the mitzvah of para aduma is it should be ready for other people, it's because it's not about benefiting yourself. Moshe Rabbeinu couldn't even use the para aduma himself. He did it so everyone else can be pure. The Lubavitcher Rebbe takes this mitzvah from the Rambam and he says, look at the para aduma and extrapolate to our lives. It's not all about me. It's about how I can help other people, whether I benefit personally or grow personally or not. You know, there's a whole thing in the yeshiva world where they distort a famous line from the Gemara. There's a line from the Gemara, Chayecha Kodem, the Gemara says. You know what the story is? It's a story. We read this to the ladies like a couple of years ago. How's your memory? A couple of years ago, we read a story from the Gemara. I don't want to go too much into it. About the two guys who are walking and there's only enough water for one of them. Do you have to share the water? The Gemara says, Hayecha Kodim, your life has to come first. You can't die for another person. So in yeshiva, I've heard this phrase many times when I was in yeshiva. This guy wants to learn with me, but he's at a lower level than me. Hayecha Kodim. My life has to come first. I'm sorry. I can't sacrifice my learning to teach him. That's completely distorted. It's not true. It only works for life and death, physical. It doesn't work for spiritual. It's all about making the other people pure. That's Moshe Rabbeinu was so busy with something that it could never affect him ever. And therefore the Rambam, of all the things to say, he says the whole point is put it in a can and get it ready in case anyone needs it. Says the Lubavitcher Rebbe. That's para aduma, that's holiness. Get it ready for anyone who needs it. Moshe, a lot of times when we talk, not to, when we talk a lot about the shul, Moshe says, we are here, the shul, we are here for anyone who needs us. We just have to be ready. That's how you serve the community. Just be ready. Whether you did it, whether you didn't do it, whether you sprinkled, it doesn't matter. Whether you use it or you don't use it, you need to be ready. If someone wants to open the doors and join your table, are you ready for them? That's the mitzvah. Moshe Rabbeinu makes the para aduma for everyone else. Now, the original question, how can it be the person who makes the other person tahor becomes tameh themselves? It's so weird. It's the essence of the mitzvah. Purifying someone when you get nothing in return. In fact, you're getting hurt in return. You're becoming tameh yourself. Why would you do this? That's how you purify someone else. When you go to make someone else's life better, in spirituality for sure, but even in physicality, even at your own detriment, that's called purifying someone. Not, I'll purify them with me. Forget about yourself. You become tameh. You have to go outside for one whole day, and at nightfall go in the mikvah, and then we'll let you back in. You did this for the other guy. And we're talking about the Kohanim, with the rabbis. Imagine the Kohen, the rabbi, is outside the camp. Where's the rabbi? He didn't show up in shul today. Oh, he made another guy, Joe Shmo, who was touching a dead guy. He made him kosher. Oh, so the rabbi is exiled for the whole day. He's sitting outside the camp for the whole day. Yeah. Welcome to community service. Welcome to Judaism. It's all about making someone else pure, even at your own detriment. That's why the Rambam says it's all about just putting it in the can. Especially. Put it in the can for other people. Moshe Rabbeinu can't even use the thing. You're the first one, Moshe Rabbeinu. Make it. Make it. What do I got to do with it? I don't make it. I'm immune. I'm like Superman, invincible to Tum'ah. Make the first one. Do it for the other guy. And so I want to say, I've always had a question myself. It's kind of a childish question, because when you learn more, you realize it's a really stupid question. But as a kid, I'll tell you what the question I always had as a kid. Who was the last person to sprinkle para aduma? I always had this question. So if you have a question, don't feel stupid. It is a stupid question, but who was the last person to sprinkle para aduma? It's a chain that never ends, right? So I'm tameh, so I get sprinkled, and you sprinkle me, and then you're tameh. Who's the last guy? And the reason why you hear the question?
No, but the sprinkler just has to be outside.
Yeah, that's why it's a stupid. That's exactly why it's a stupid question. As a kid, I always wondered this because the level of impurity the sprinkler gets is a much lower level of impurity. You just go outside, wait one day, and come back in. But it's possible that Moshe Rabbeinu, I don't know for sure, was the last sprinkler. He's invincible, man. Come, I'll sprinkle you. Nothing happened to me. Or it's possible Moshe Rabbeinu sprinkled everybody. No one had to get tameh. We see the whole concept of para aduma is to help another person. One last piece. Says the Gaon Mivilna, is it possible that we changed over time and became a little bit more like Moshe Rabbeinu? We just finished Purim. Last week was the Megillah. And the Gemara says, we accepted upon ourselves. What does it mean we accepted upon ourselves? The Gemara says, is well known, yeah? The Gemara says, they accepted upon themselves above what they accepted below. Meaning what? The Gemara says, we accepted upon ourselves, not this Gemara, it's different. We accepted upon ourselves the Torah with a full heart. No more force.
We did by kafara.
No more force. We want it fully, Hashem.
Says, how do you even know that? Because we added 3 mitzvot that weren't before.
Very nice. On Purim, we accepted it with love. That's when we locked it in for good. Which means you take away the mountain over our heads, we're still here, Hashem. Says the Gaon Vilna, who used the kosher Megillah? You know what it looks like. You know what it looks like. Kiemu, what is it written? Kiemu v'kibel. It's a ketiv and a kiri. Sometimes we have a letter that's read differently. Kiemu v'kibelu haYehudim. Kiemu is plural. They fulfilled. V'kibelu, and they accepted. But that's not how it's written. It's written Kiemu v'kibel. They fulfilled and he accepted. It's missing the vav, but we read it with the vav. Moshe, you know this? Really? Kiemu v'kibel, it's written. But we read it v'kiblu. Why, says the Gaon Vilna? We all accepted it the way the one guy accepted it way back when. No, Moshe, that's true also, but listen to this. We all accepted it, Kiemu, we fulfilled v'kibel, the way that one person one time accepted it, Moshe Rabbeinu. We all now are on top of the mountain, not under the mountain anymore. So here's the last question that's not at all practical halachically. It's just something to get the brain going. Now, after Purim, we all became like Moshe Rabbeinu. Our mitzvot lehanot nitnu. Can we benefit from mitzvot? And if now we can benefit from mitzvot because we did it with love, how do we get para aduma? How does it work for us? Because we all became like Moshe Rabbeinu. The answer is, this is probably not halachic at all. It's just a very interesting way to think about it. Well, you know what Rambam said straight out, like Yariv said, there were 9 para adumas, and the 10th one is going to be with Melech HaMashiach. He's going to bring the 10th one. Whatever the case is, as we leave Purim is a time where we just think about the way Moshe Rabbeinu did it. Moshe Rabbeinu was about doing it for the other person, whether you get something or not, and that's how we go into Pesach. People out there, they need our help. I'm not only talking about money. It's not always about money. Spiritually, guys, people need leaders and rabbis and rebbitzins. People need you. Go out there and inspire someone. There's someone in your life that looks at you like you're a big rabbi, big rebbitzin, because there's a lot of customers out there that have a lot less than we do. And so therefore, help them at your own detriment. Bring them in, teach them. If Moshe Rabbeinu could make the first para aduma, so could we. That's the idea for today. Have an amazing week. Shavua Tov and Barach.